What is up, YouTube? How are you doing? Channa here for idjnow, and today we're going to be talking about the Denon DJ Prime 4. Now, this review won't be like the other reviews you've seen on YouTube. I am coming from the Serato and Pioneer DDJ platform, and I just switched over to the Denon DJ Prime 4. And I'll go through like some of the tips and tricks that I found out that made me very comfortable on the Prime 4, just like I was on the Pioneer DDJ setup. Now, I've been DJing for a long time, and I've gone through a lot of these controllers. I had the DDJ-SX, the DDJ-SX2, the SZ2, and most recently picked up the DDJ-1000 SRT. Now, I have no problem with these controllers at all. I love them, especially the large size jog wheels on the SZ2 and the 1000 SRT. Anyway, I bought the Denon. Now, if you're thinking about making the switch, I had a few days before I knew the Prime 4 would arrive. First things first, I downloaded the Engine Prime software and started having it analyze my tracks. I wanted everything prepared and ready to go. As soon as the Prime 4 arrived, I can just toss in my SSD and we're good to go. So I would highly recommend, if you're making the switch from a Serato DJ and Pioneer DDJ setup, or even the Newmark, whichever, and making it over to the Prime 4, download the Prime software and have it start analyzing your files, okay? Because it took about 10 hours to analyze that 20,000 files. That's a lot of time. That's a definite pro tip for you guys there. Just get it done ahead of time. Now, if you think the Engine Prime software could be kind of like a daunting task to get through, I will be making a video about that and a video about how to get your logo into the center of the jog wheel on the Prime 4. So you should definitely subscribe up to the idjnow channel, and don't forget to hit that bell so you know when the next video in my series drops. Alright, so the first thing I did was move all my stuff to an SSD I had laying around because of the SATA drive bay, and I thought that would be a really cool feature. And it turns out, for me in particular, not that cool. It was more of a hassle, really, because I actually don't have any room in my studio here to keep that set up. I got a bunch of synthesizers and keyboards and all kinds of other stuff here. So my DJ controller really just hung out in my, storage unit until I needed it for a gig. And I would just prep all the tracks on the laptop. So to have to plug in the laptop to the Prime 4 every time I wanted to add or remove tracks or playlists or anything like that, it was kind of annoying. So if that kind of describes how you work, then I would say you probably want to just stick to a thumb drive. I ended up buying an external SSD, and that works out really well. I wanted to be comfortable on the Prime 4, and the way I DJ, I usually use the hotkeys quite a bit, so making sure that that hotkey functionality worked just like the Serato DJ and DDJ setup is exactly what I wanted to go for. Initially, when I press the hotkey on the Prime 4, I touch it once and the song plays. That's kind of how virtual DJ software was working when I was using it with the DDJ-1000 SRT, and that was kind of messing me up. So I wanted to see if I could change that functionality. So I read the instruction booklet, and it's really easy to change. All you have to do is press and hold the view button, go into preferences, scroll down to paused hotcue behavior, and you need to change that from trigger to momentary. Now when I press the hotkey on the Prime 4, it will play and then it'll stop as I lift my hand off the pad. That's exactly the way I want it to behave, just like it did on the Pioneer DDJ and Serato setup. Now, I don't know about you, but I like to have 4 decks running in my Serato. It's not that I'm mixing 4 decks all the time, especially not at a wedding, because like, why would you do that? But if there's like specific songs that we need to go through right away, like couples first dance, father-daughter dance, mother-son dance, I want to load up all those 3 tracks and have like the 4th one be like just a background, just in between while people get to the dance floor and you're on the mic and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to have all 4 decks going. In the Prime 4, immediately 4 decks you actually are not able to use. It's only set up for 2 decks, and we need to go turn that on. So to do that, we need to press and hold view, tap utilities, and under device settings, we just need to turn deck 3/4 on. After that, you're good to go. But I did find something interesting. Now, when I updated my Prime 4, that update did come with the horizontal waveforms, which I like. It makes me feel more at home with the Prime 4. But when you're in 4-deck mode, you can only see all 4 waveforms if you're in vertical. If you're in horizontal waveform, you will only see the waveforms for deck 1 and deck 2, and then deck 3 and deck 4 separately. So you won't be able to see all 4 decks running at the same time. If that's something you need and that's something you're looking for, you can only get that with vertical waveforms. So what does that mean? That means if you're trying to just mix on tracks 1 and 3, you won't be able to see those 2 waveforms in the horizontal view. You'll see either track 1 or track 3, same thing on the other side. If you're trying to mix 2 tracks, track 2 and track 4, you won't be able to see the waveforms unless you're in vertical view. Now, that is lame and it does suck, but if you plan your mixing around it, you'll be good to go now that you know ahead of time. And one of the things I'm really used to on the Serato platform is having both times, meaning where we are in the playhead and the how much we have left, the negative number. On the Prime 4, it's either one or the other. Now on that first gig, I actually didn't know how to change it. I didn't find that in the preferences anywhere. I didn't find it in the utility menu. So I was kind of like confused. It wasn't until I had a few more days with it. It's really easy to change. All you need to do is go to the screen and just tap the time. That's it. You tap it and it'll change from where the playhead is at to how much time is left in the track. Now, it will only do one or the other. It won't do both. It'll only do one or the other, and it'll change it for the other tracks as well. So you're either on the where the playhead is or how much time is left. One or the other, that's all. If you can deal with that, cool. I don't find that to be like too big of an issue. I just need to know how much time I've got left to look for the next song. You know what I mean? Now, if a lot of you guys out there are changing keys, one of the cool parts is you can press and hold the key button and it will match the track's key to the current track that's playing. Now, the one thing I didn't like about that is sometimes like when you change the key for like, 6 or 7 steps, like the song kind of sounds a little weird. So I was trying to figure out a way you can change the keys just by going up and down, because we don't need to match the key. We can get an adjacent key or one that's like one full step away. So to do this, you just tap on the screen where the key is, and then you get a plus and a minus, and it'll tell you which key it's going to go into if you go up or down. I think that's really cool, but for those of you that are used to like the DDJ 1000 SRT that has the physical buttons on the controller, that might be something you need to get used to. Now, one of the things I always do on the Pioneer setup is to change my EQs from being just a regular EQ to an isolation EQ. Now, to do this, it's a little bit different on the Denon Prime 4. We need to get into the utility menu, so press and hold view, tap utilities, and we need to scroll down to EQ type. And here's where we can change the EQ type to the way I like it, which is isolation. One of the things you have to definitely think about, especially coming from the Pioneer controllers, is the master volume and the booth out volume are in different locations. So the controls are up here, so just make sure you know which control is where. Now, there's another thing I found out pretty cool in the preferences menu that has to deal with changing the range of the pitch fader. Right now, you got to press and hold shift and then press up or down to get you up to 10, 20, 50, 100%, or back down to 8, or whatever it is you need for that specific track. Now, if we press and hold view, go into the preferences menu and scroll down to pitch control type. Now, if we change that to range, what that does is it changes it so now you don't have to press shift to go up and down in range for the pitch slider. I think this is really cool that you can kind of change that, and I kind of found that out the other day, so cool tip. I use it, maybe you can too. So about this time, you're probably asking yourself, well, Channa, do you like it? Yeah, I love the thing. I cannot wait to do more events with the Denon DJ Prime 4. I am so glad I do not have to deal with the laptop. I mean, of course, you got to get the tracks from the laptop onto the drive, whatever. But I'm so glad I don't have to rely on the laptop and have that be the weak link in the system. If the software is buggy, or if it accidentally auto updated and then, change something and then, audio's dropping out. Like, who needs that? I do not need that. And, my clients are paying me good money, and basically I have one job, and that's to keep music on. So that's why I switched from the Pioneer DDJ and Serato DJ platform over to the Denon Prime 4 because I was getting a ton of audio dropouts starting somewhere around August of this year all the way through October, and even buying a new controller did not change that situation. And that's how I figured out it was the software. It's doing something weird with my computer, and I really just didn't have time during the week to just flash my hard drive and start from scratch and then rebuild everything and make all the playlists again and all that kind of nonsense. Just didn't have time for it. So I'm really digging the Denon Prime 4, and I'm really stoked. So if you are thinking about jumping ship or just cutting that USB cord between your laptop and your controller and want an all-in-one system, definitely check out the Denon DJ Prime 4. And of course, check out the link down in the description and see if the folks at idjnow.com can get you set up. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, go ahead, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the IDJ Now YouTube channel. I have more videos coming out about the Denon DJ Prime 4, so make sure you hit that bell so you know when the next video drops. Once again, my name is Channa, and we'll see you next time. Peace.